What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Twisted Bug Media Network's YouTube channel. This is Ryan. I am here starting a new series in MLB The Show 24. Yes, I will be continuing that Red Sox franchise over time, but I wanted to get this White Sox franchise going. This is the team that I've always had my mind on for the last year when it came to this game, and I decided to pull the trigger and go ahead and do it. We are in the south side of Chicago. I'm super excited for this series. How I am going to structure this. If you have watched Mr. Hurricane's Let's Play channel every year in Madden, he basically just takes over as the GM and will watch some games. And that's what we're going to be doing here with the White Sox. I am not going to be playing any of the games. We will definitely be watching a lot of the games. We will be heavily invested, but I am the GM. I am not going to have any impact on the field of play. That's how I think this is going to be the most fun for me. And yeah, super excited. I already came in and set everything up for this franchise. So if we're going to look at the lineup, you know, there's not a lot of talent on this team. It is the 30th ranked team, even below the Rockies and the Athletics, which is tough. Hitting leadoff for us is going to be Andrew Benintendi, who is a huge free agent acquisition. Yeah, I mean, that's a mess. He's not a great fielder, but, you know, maybe those hitting stats can get you somewhere. We got Nicky Lopez at second base, which I don't feel great about, of course. Eloy hitting third at DH, and then the big man, Luis Robert Jr., under contract for the next 4 seasons. I am assuming I'm going to trade him here in the first year, but I don't know that for sure just because that contract is so good. Andrew Vaughn, still in a potential, still hoping we can develop him, put him wherever we need to because he is a utility man. Yoan Moncada, you know, it just hasn't ever come together for this guy, but we have him for 2 more years for a lot of money, so we're going to try to develop him. Dominic Fletcher manning right this season for us against righties, and then Max Stassi coming over from the Angels to be our catcher on a 2-year deal, and Paul DeYoung coming over from the San Francisco Giants. On the bench, we have Martin Maldonado. Moving on, Mike Moustakas comes in on a $2 million contract. Excited to see what he can do off the bench at 35 years old. Could still definitely help us this season. Danny Mendick and Kevin Pillar round out the bench here in the major leagues. Let's look at the pitching rotation here in the majors. We have Jake Woodford, Michael Kopech, Mike Soroka, Chris Flexen, and Eric Feedy. Feedy coming back over from the KBO where he had a Best Pitcher of the Year performance. The show does still not like him, and that is fine, but he is going to be one of our 5 starters. We are not paying him $7.5 million a year to play in AAA. So this is our bullpen. It's definitely subject to change. We have Joe Barlow, Steven Wilson, Chad Kuhl, Shane Duran, Tanner Banks, Dominic Leone, John Brebbia, and then I got Garrett Crochet as our closer. I know that he actually is starting in real life for the Sox. We are not going to be doing that because he has 25 stamina, so that just doesn't work. But I do want him to be a big part of this team, and I think the way I'm going to do that is having him be our closer long term. So excited about that. Shane Drohan was a Rule 5 pickup. So for now, he's going to stay on the 26-man roster in our bullpen, but I am not guaranteeing that that will stay that way for very long. So that's the way the team is shaping up in the majors. I'm expecting us to be awful. Looking at AAA, this is where we are starting to get our young core going. That is Colson Montgomery, the number 9 prospect in baseball, hoping that he can be a superstar for us. Maybe he is going to be some type of player that we call up midway through the season, extend for a long time. I want him to be the superstar of this rebuild. We also have Gavin Sheets down here. Has not been able to put it together in the majors. I mean, you can see this is his last year on an option, so let's see what he can do down here in AAA. Maybe able to help us down the line. Other big prospects. Let's go through this. Rafael Ortega. No, Brian Ramos playing third for us down at AAA. Really bad plate vision, discipline, and clutch Got a lot to develop there, but I think he makes sense at AAA for us. Then we have Zach Deloche, C potential guy, who is DHing for us. Yolki Cespedes, C potential, 26 years old. Not sure about that. Over on the bench, we got Braden Schwumake, Corey Lee, Brooks Baldwin, and Brett Phillips. Brett Phillips isn't one of the worst hitting players I've ever seen. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that in the show. Yeah, makes sense by those stats. So that is our AAA starting point. Pitching wise, Drew Thorpe, the main acquisition in the Dylan Cease trade. He is going to be our AAA guy. We're going to be trying to get him up to the majors probably at some point this year. Kai Bush, they kind of dropped his potential after not playing super well. Hopefully we can get that going a little bit. Nick Nastrini is going to be another starter for us at AAA. C potential, 65 overall. Jesse Schultens, D potential, 30-year-old. Hopefully just can eat some innings for us in AAA. And then Jake Eater, C potential, 25-year-old. Maybe he could be something. In the bullpen, we have Davey Garcia. He is our big name reliever. Hopefully he can, start to put things together down here and become a quality reliever for us. Prelander Baroria. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, White Sox fans who are watching in the comments. Another long relief option for us. Hopefully he can develop. Matt Foster will not be probably joining the major league team anytime soon. And then we do have the vet Tim Hill in the bullpen as our closer in AAA. Then finally looking at our AA team in Birmingham, we do have Terrell Tatum leading off for us. He's a D potential, but looks like he could develop into something, even if it's just a bench role for us later in the season because of those speed and fielding stats. Samuel Zavala, also part of the deal with the Padres for Dylan Cease. Only 19 years old, but in this game it really probably would be best just to have him immediately up at AA. That glove is definitely ready for AA, if not AAA or the bigs. Got to get that bat developed. Then we also have Oscar Colas down here, a potential 25-year-old. Really need him to start to turn that corner. He does have a minor league option used, so we only got 2 more years on the clock with him. Edgar Caro is another top prospect for us. He's going to be up at AA as our catcher. And yes, that is the basics of that pitching rotation down here. Noah Schultz, a potential player. Really excited about him. Jairo Iriarte is another piece that they got for the Dylan Cease trade. Really good haul for the White Sox in that trade. And then we also have Grant Taylor and Jared Kelly as interesting players down here. And then, yes, we also have Andrew Perez as our closer down here because he is designated as a closer. If we are looking at our top prospects, this is what it's going to be looking like for us this year. Colson Montgomery, number 1 prospect. If we go over here, you can see he is number 9 in the MLB. Like I said, the next highest one we have is going to be all the way down at 50, unfortunately, and that is Noah Schultz, starting pitcher. We only have one other in the top 100, which was down here, 78 for Jacob Gonzalez, our AA second baseman. We also have Walkow, Drew Thorpe, Edgar Caro, Samuel Zavala, Taylor Iriarte, and Ramos rounding out our top 10. If you want to look here at the rest of our top 20. So clearly, we are bereft of talent, why we are 30th in the MLB in MLB talent. We got some prospects. I'd say we have like a middle tier farm system. So what's going to be really important for that is getting good scouts and getting good players onto this team. So I think immediately we're going to just hire this best scout, and then we're going to figure out what we can do with the rest. We have 2,800. I think I'm going to downgrade this guy, Alexis Gibbs. Not thrilled with his ratings. I think something like this for position players and efficiency is going to be... Ooh, maybe I can't afford him. Okay, there we go. That was weird. And now that gives us $3,900 to improve on Kendrick Gold. So hopefully we can find someone who is good at pitching for around 9,000. Maybe. Yes, here we go. This guy, Lonnie Franks. So we're going to have 2 guys good at position players, 2 guys good at pitching, and then all 3 are decent at efficiency. Okay, I'm actually going to go for Israel Cleary because I want someone who's just a little more well-rounded. That means we have the elite guy with Barry Patton, and then 2 more well-rounded guys, Lonnie Franks. Maybe avoid position players with him. But I like this efficiency because efficiency for me is really important. And making sure it's an 80 plus if they're going to be evaluating a player is very important in terms of the pitching and the position player stats. So having 3 guys over 80 in efficiency is really going to help us once we get going. So that's going to be our scouting department. We are going to be looking at the opening days for Charlotte and Birmingham eventually. But let's get into it. Opening day. Let's watch this. We're going to play the game. Let's get into it. Welcome to Guaranteed Rate Field in the south side of Chicago for opening day of the Chicago White Sox franchise. There you see Paul DeYoung, Nicky Lopez, some fireworks going off. And this is super exciting. It's the start of a new season. We are probably going to be really bad, especially once I trade Luis Robert, which is, I'd say, is like a 2 out of 3 possibility happening at some point in the coming weeks/months of this season. I would love to get us a new stadium as they are in real life. I've never played around with the stadium creator, so we will see on that. But here we go. I mean, my goal really is to win 60 games. I'm not sure that is going to happen. This team, like I said, has some names on it, but names that have never really hit their full potential, besides, of course, Luis Robert Jr., who is projected to be our leader in everything but average in OPS, which I don't know why he wouldn't be our leader in OPS. There is our opening day starter, Jake Woodford, coming over from the St. Louis Cardinals. Super excited to see if he can maybe become a fixture in our rotation over the next couple years. So let's talk a little about my philosophy. As you can see right there, Jake Woodford really struggled last year in St. Louis. I think when you're taking over a team, your goal always should be to win as many games as possible at the major league level. If you're taking over a team, your goal should be to win. Don't make that fan base wait. But when this team is as desperate of a situation as we are here in Chicago, I don't really know how we are going to win in these first couple of years. As Jake Woodford delivers strike 1. Welcome to the 2024 season. Welcome to the White Sox franchise here on the Twisted Mug Media channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any takes on this episode. And immediately a hit out to right. Ooh, cannot field it cleanly. And then get it into Nicky Lopez. I love the ticker at the bottom there. Being able to see a lot of the highlights of this franchise. Great hit by Baddoo. And Woodford's perfect game is gone on the second pitch. What a bummer. But yeah, so like I said, this team, it's going to take some getting used to for me because I'm not super familiar with this team. I try to familiarize myself as best as I could going into this, but I am not, full disclosure, I am not a White Sox fan. I am a Pirates fan. So it's going to take some adjusting to these players. It's going to take some getting used to the team in general, and it's going to take a lot of developing of our young studs at the AA and AAA level before they are ready to come up and contribute as we record our first out of the franchise. I'm going to watch the entire first inning probably, and then we will jump around a little in this game and then probably call it a first episode there. The Tigers are going to be a big opponent for us throughout this series. Colt Keith, obviously, making his major league debut. here after signing that 6-year contract to avoid the renewable and arbitration period of team control. And he immediately gets paid a good bit of money. So Woodford going to be looking for a double play here and clips the inside corner with a fastball. Pitching wise, I don't think we are going to be anything better than 28th in the league, as there we go, Moncada to Lopez, 2. Our first baseman, why am I blanking on our first baseman? Andrew Vaughn. See, as my familiarity with the team, turning 2, and we're getting out of that mini jam. 1 hit for the Tigers, and we're going to the bottom of the first. Tariq Skubal on the mound for the Tigers. Obviously an elite pitcher that only threw 80 innings last year, but will be our opponent today. So, leading off for us, Andrew Benintendi. Hitting first, playing left. And first pitch we are seeing is a strike, 95, top of the zone. Skubal, the pitch, and strikes out Benintendi. Here comes Nicky Lopez. Foul ball. He is not somebody that I envision being on the Major League roster any longer than I need him to be. Unfortunately, like I said, a lot of these guys are just kind of going to be fillers. Payoff pitch to Nicky Lopez coming in. And he's going to fly out to center. Good play by their center fielder, and they're 2 away. Looking at our lineup there, again, Eloy coming up next. We got Luis Robert, Yoel Moncada, Andrew Vaughn, and then the bottom of that lineup we are not going to talk about. And he strikes out to end the inning. So, doing a little super simming here, Jake Woodford just gave up a solo shot to Rogers in the 9-hole in the top of the 3rd. And a triple then for Akil Baddoo. So let's jump in and watch. And a single up the middle for Gio Urshela. And there is 2 on the board for Detroit. Now first and second, 2 outs for Torkelson. And he gets him to go around on a check swing. That'll get him out of the jam. We are jumping in here into the top of the 6th. Woodford holding his own, but we are getting no hit right now. First and second, no outs, in danger of getting out of control here. The 2-2 from Woodford. And they could turn 2, which would be huge. And we do turn 2. Runner on third, 2 outs. So we're going to have Chad Kuhl come on then in relief for Jake Woodford. Runner on third, 2 gone here in the top of the 6th inning. 2-2 from Kuhl. And he is going to get out of the jam. We are going to the bottom of the 6th. We need to get some hits. So on a walk and a fielding error, still without a hit, second and third, no outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Martin Maldonado, exactly the player that you would want up to have in this situation. Maldonado walks. Skubal has bases loaded, nobody out. Still yet to allow a hit as Andrew Benintendi comes to the plate to try to give us a lead, if not our first hit. And Benintendi sends one to deep right, should be enough to score our first run of the season. And we do. It is a 2-1 ball game. First and third, one out in the bottom of the sixth. Still without a hit, but we have a run on the board. And Lopez is going to hit, not into a double play. We tie the game at 2, still without a hit. Run on first, 2 outs for Eloy. And he hammers one to left field, but it is going to be the third out. So we get 2 across. Still no hits. So we continue on to the top of the 7th, and now we have Joe Barlow coming in with runners on first and second and nobody out. 2 strikes on Baddoo, but he puts one into the gap. And runner going to the plate, and he is safe. It is a 3-2 Tigers lead on the Akil Baddoo RBI off Joe Barlow. Joe Barlow has Riley Green. 2-2, 2 out, runner on third. The pitch, and he strikes him out to get out of it. Only 1 run gets across. Let's see if we can get a hit on the board in this 7th inning. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. We are still without a hit with 2 outs, but there is a runner on first due to a walk, and it's Andrew Benintendi in the box. Again, we are not going to get blanked in terms of runs in this game. We already have 2, as you saw earlier, but still without a hit from Tariq Skubal. Yeah, it's a ball, 1-1. And Benintendi pops it up. We are going to have no hits through 8. Let's go to the 9th. Dominic Leone comes on to pitch for the White Sox. Baddoo strikes out to end the top half of the 9th. Let's see if we can use the heart of our order to get a hit and hopefully get a run or 2 to send off Chicago. There we go. Chicago White Sox, not Chicago. Here comes Jason Foley. Played really well last year with the 2.61 ERA and 69 innings. And we have Nicky Lopez up to the plate. Foley quickly gets 2 strikes on Nicky Lopez. Already fouled one off. And he breaks his bat, pops up to short, and there is 1 out. Eloy Jimenez comes to the plate, trying to be the hero, with Luis Robert Jr. on deck. The 3-2 pitch. Jimenez watches one right down the middle. Oh, that's heartbreaking. So we are down to our final out, and the Tigers look for the combined no-hitter. But there is nobody we would want up to the plate more than Luis Robert. And that'll do it. Luis Robert pops up to first base, and we get no hit on opening day. A combined no-hitter with Foley and Skubal. We were able to push across 2 runs, but that is history right there. Opening day no-hitter for the Detroit Tigers. What a way for this series to start. As you can see, the Tigers players celebrating the accomplishment together. That is a bad omen for our season, I'll tell you what. Everyone's hugging Foley. He gets the save and gets to do the least of the dirty work, but still gets to have his name in history as part of a no-hitter. So that is going to do it for me today on the first episode of the Chicago White Sox franchise. We get no hit on opening day. What a way to start it off. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you next episode where hopefully we can get through a lot of the month of April.